Yeah, and I would just say that I think the democracy, including many whites, a majority of whites, pushed back in the midterm of 2018, and that they gave Donald Trump the worst midterm defeat in 100 years, more than Obama's 2010 Tea Party setback. And I think we have to acknowledge that and realize that there's a lot of discontentment with Donald Trump on a spiritual level. I think many people, even whites, are concerned about the spiritual, moral, essential, artistic, cultural aspects of America, the beauty of America, the beauty of what this country and land is because of the brown people in it, the rhythm, the beauty that we bring to it. They see that as a value added to this country. And I think Donald Trump is underestimating that what happened in North Carolina cannot be interpreted as a positive for him. He won that district by, I think, double digits in 2016, and his candidate, who he had to fly in and help at the last minute, barely won against a Democrat in a district that the Republicans had dominated. In a state where the court has required that they, if I'm not mistaken, eliminate all of the gerrymandered districts and reset its electoral districts, I think before 2020, if I'm not mistaken. It's either North Carolina or another state. I might be confusing myself, but that's happening. It seems to me that we can look and see that people did push back. North Carolina, I think, is an aberration for Trump, and is actually a telltale sign, a bad sign for him, that he barely eked out a victory in a place where he had a double-digit win. And that's going to be the case this time. It's going to come down to, again, 130 million votes cast, 75,000 votes were the difference last time. That's like coming down to the last few chips on the table. And so I think what Donald Trump can anticipate is a fierce backlash. I think some people want to grab as many chestnuts as they can in the time they have during this moral corruption to get as rich as they can, but they know this is coming to a crash and is going to crash and burn through impeachment or embarrassment. There's no good ending for Donald Trump. There's no happy ending. This does not end well. He does not just walk away having disgraced the presidency and taken it to new levels of racism, or old levels, not new, old levels of racism, and bringing them back. And I think that's what is going to hurt him. So
the pushback basically is based on what the Republicans are saying. The Republicans were trying to say it was an aspartame moment. It was an aspartame aspiration that occurred during the midterms. And aspartame, as everybody knows, is fake. It's fake sugar. Okay, so it's not really what's going on. So based on that particular philosophy and stuff, and what you stated is that there's pushback. Now they've been polling, James. This is the thing I'm concerned about. I've been looking at polls that they've been coming out of those key states. Polls that are coming out of Pennsylvania, polls that are coming out of Ohio, polls that are coming out of Michigan, and then you start to see a sudden move back toward acceptance of Trump based on the people's political philosophy.
I think that's Nancy Pelosi's fault. I think Nancy Pelosi is making America say, well, he's, like even this thing with Ukraine. This is corruption beyond corruption. This is a smoking gun, where he basically threatened the Ukrainian government with $280 million. If you want your money, investigate my enemies. Rudy Giuliani got on TV and embarrassed himself last night and tried to justify it. But I think that's in part what we see happening, is that Donald Trump is pushing the boundaries more and more and more, and Nancy Pelosi sitting back strategically saying, well, we can't impeach because they won't win in the Senate. Do you understand? And this is why I don't understand. This is why I wish people would listen to me. We've had 2 impeachments. Both times the Senate did not throw the president out of office, but they were still impeached. So impeachment is to be carried out. Whether or not the president is thrown out of office by the Senate, He never has been. But we still have had impeachments. So when Nancy Pelosi says, well, the Republicans aren't going to throw him out of office anyway, throwing out of office ain't impeachment. Throwing him out of office is called removal that follows impeachment. Impeachment is the trial that the House holds against the president for high crimes and misdemeanors. That's the only thing she got to worry about. She can't worry about what the jury decides. What prosecutor goes into a case and says, ooh, we won't prosecute this case? Now, they do that way before they charge. They kind of look at the case and say, well, it's not winnable. And maybe that's what she's doing. But it seems to me that in the case of history, history itself requires Donald Trump's impeachment. History demands his impeachment. He cannot get away with this. He is more corrupt than Hayes, Nixon, and Harding. The most corrupt presidents in American history combined. Bill Clinton with porn stars and Playboy bunnies cheating on his wife while she's pregnant and things of that sort. This is beyond a wife who's here illegally, and he's running around attacking undocumented people his wife's family are anchor people who came because of her chain migration, and he's on TV talking about chain migration. Donald Trump has got to be impeached whether or not he's removed, just like Andrew Johnson was impeached and was not removed, just like Bill Clinton was impeached and was not removed. Removal is not impeachment. Impeachment is impeachment, and the result of impeachment is removal or non-removal. But Nancy Pelosi owes it to America to impeach this man and not worry about the outcome. And nobody else anywhere in America is saying that, but right here on Black Men Screaming. And that's the tragedy. This needs to be said on CNN. This needs to be said everywhere, that it doesn't matter whether he's removed or not. Impeach him for the sake of history. Impeach him so that history will document his impeachment and all of his corruption. And that's what Nancy Pelosi owes to the future. Even if it costs the Democrats the next 4 years, she owes it to them. But if she does not impeach him, I guarantee you Donald Trump's re-election. If he's not impeached, he wins because Nancy Pelosi is saying, my bad child is not so bad. Yeah, he broke things, but he's a boy being a boy. Nancy Pelosi is enabling Donald Trump by not going after him with impeachment. These hearings that Nadler is holding. What are these hearings?
Impeachment is an intervention on behalf of America.
And that's what people need to understand is the rules of the Constitution is that the House of Representatives acts like the prosecutor, and they hold a trial and they charge the president with high crimes and misdemeanors. And then the Senate acts as the jury and the judge, and they decide vote up or down to throw him out of office. We've had 2 impeachments, no office removal. Did that keep anybody from being impeached? So why is the Democrats allowing themselves to be preempted by the idea that Mitch McConnell won't follow through? So what? They didn't do it with Bill Clinton or Andrew Jackson either, and both of those men are permanently tattooed with impeachment. If Donald Trump is not impeached, God have mercy on this country in terms of what the presidency means going forward, because if Donald Trump can get away with this, then everybody can do whatever they want from henceforth.